news coming in as far as Covaxin is concerned, where the subject expert committee has now approved the Covaxin phase 3 trials data submitted by Bharat Biotech. Covaxin has shown a 77.6% efficacy in phase 3 trial data in a review meet by the subject expert committee as well. Remember, Covaxin had just a few days and weeks back had announced that they will be announcing the data and release the data for their phase 3 trials. Let me go across to my colleague Piyush, who's now joining us live. Yes, Piyush, now Covaxin showing a over 77% efficacy.
Well, yes, Richa, that's a very positive sign which we are right now picking is that today a meeting of a subject experts committee took place and it was a review meet. Remember that Bharat Biotech had submitted its data over the weekend, and now after this meeting took place in National Capital, finally what we are given to understand is that after this review meet it has been decided that Bharat Biotech, third phase of Bharat Biotech's trial tells us that it has got more than 77% efficacy, which means it has a 77.6% efficacy, which itself is a very good sign. Remember that it is India's own indigenous vaccine, and we had seen as to how the trials had begun a couple of months back. From 1st of January, we had seen as to how approvals were given to Serum Institute of India's Covaxin, Covishield, and Bharat Biotech's Bharat Biotech's Covaxin. So finally today it's a big day when we are given to understand is that this vaccine, Bharat Biotech's Covaxin, has now been given 77.6% efficacy by the subject experts committee. The meeting took place in National Capital. There were some sort of questions those were raised earlier by a few people, and second phase of trial was also telling us as to how it has got more than 70% of efficacy. And now what we are given to understand is that the meeting which took place in National Capital has done a review, and it has finally approved Bharat Biotech, and it has got the efficacy of more than 77.6%.
All right, thank you so much, Piyush, for getting us that update. So the phase 3 trial data that has been submitted by Bharat Biotech. In fact, stay with us, Piyush. If you can also take us through, there has been a lot of debate and controversy surrounding Covaxin, with the opposition parties that are like the Congress are also raising certain questions against Covaxin's data and a certain amount of ingredients that were used in it as well. If you can also share more on that, and what does this really mean? Should this once and for all shut all the detractors as well as, in a way, people who have been criticizing the vaccine?
Well, yes, Richa, we have seen as to how politicization also took place of this entire issue. Many parties, including Congress party, they had raised questions on this. But finally, now the subject experts committee, which met today, they have given a go-ahead. And after looking into the phase 3 data, which was submitted by Covaxin over the weekend, what we are given to understand is that now the efficacy of this vaccine is 77.6%, which itself is a very good sign. India's own indigenous vaccine is now doing wonders. We have seen as to how this vaccine has been sent, in other countries also. If we talk about the entire vaccination drive, we know that how every day good number of people are being vaccinated. Yesterday itself, more than 80%, more than 80 lakh people were vaccinated. So the pace of vaccination drive is also, is gearing up. If we talk about Covaxin, now what we are told is that a meeting took place of a subject experts committee and the DCGI. After looking into the review meet, finally has given approval that yes, this vaccine has got more than 77% efficacy, which itself is a positive sign. It is now going to be very helpful as far as picking up the vaccination drive is concerned. We already know that the vaccination drive is at its pace. We have our own Covishield and Covaxin, and every day we are seeing as to how a good number of people are being vaccinated. Richa.
Absolutely, Piyush, and this is certainly encouraging news and results coming in as far as Covaxin is concerned. And now the subject expert committee also reviewing Covaxin's phase 3 trials, once again declaring that the efficacy for Covaxin is showing to be about 77.6% as well. We're also joined by Dr. Sanjeev Bagai on the phone line, sir. This is certainly an encouraging news coming in for Covaxin after a lot of criticism that Bharat Biotech has been facing and questions being raised. Now, the subject expert committee also stating that the Covaxin has shown over 77% efficacy.
This is indeed very, very good and encouraging for sure. This is primarily keeping the vaccine efficacy is well above the 75, closer towards the 80% mark. Also keeping in mind now with the variants, especially the Delta and the Delta Plus. So the platform which is being used by this vaccine, Covaxin, doesn't only target the spike protein but also the end part of the domain, which gives a better coverage for the mutants which are now rampant all over the world. So it's thumbs up to Covaxin. I think now everyone can rest assured the controversy ends. The data is in public domain. This is fantastic news.
All right. Dr. Bagai, another short question to you. This is certainly encouraging. And once again, if you can also speak about all the detractors who have been speaking and questioning Covaxin as well, about certain ingredients being used as well, which has been clarified by the Centre and the Health Ministry. What does this really mean that they have declared that the efficacy is 77.6 and above?
Yeah, so this is any vaccine which even WHO has set as a benchmark of more than 50 to 60% is good to fly. So 77.8%, close to 78% is adequate cover. We also know that the efficacy of many of the vaccines, once they come onto the ground, actually dip a little bit. So there is enough margin, even if the vaccine efficacy, when it is converted into effectiveness on ground in large clinical use, I think maximum it may fall a couple of notches. So we are still in a very, very good zone. It will give very, very good protection. The ICMR initial data of the effectiveness and the breakthrough infection is just 0.03 to 0.04%. So I'm extremely happy, extremely satisfied. All controversies are buried now, and we have only one mission at hand and one task in hand is to vaccinate as many people as quickly as possible.
All right, Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, thank you so much for joining us here on Republic TV. Certainly good and encouraging news coming in of the SEC now giving its approval to the Covaxin Stage 3 trials.